Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're diving into the world of flood forecasting.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm really impressed by what I've seen in the research on this.
It's incredible, really. We're looking at the work of Tinevimbo Musingati, an inventor from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, they're tackling a huge problem, flood prediction, especially in rural communities.
Exactly. And, we've got their research papers, presentation notes, that kind of thing, right? What I found fascinating was Musingati's personal connection to this whole issue.
Oh, absolutely. You can tell it's not just an academic pursuit for them. It comes from a real place.
Totally. Like, imagine growing up somewhere where every time it rains, you're worried about floods.
And that's not even an exaggeration for a lot of people in Zimbabwe. It's a reality.
Then that's what fueled Musingati, I think, this mission to, find a solution.
Yeah, and it makes you consider, too, that gap, between flood prediction here versus, like, developing countries.
Oh, for sure. It's a huge gap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in some places, you've got these, high-tech systems, radars and, millions of dollars worth of equipment.
It's something like $2 million per station, those advanced setups.
Wow. Just to operate.
Yeah, it's wild. And obviously, most countries just they can't even consider that, right?
Especially in a place like Zimbabwe. We're talking 60% of the population is rural, limited infrastructure.
Exactly.
So, how do you even begin to address this, right? You don't have millions to throw around. And that's what makes Musingati's work so cool, honestly.
Totally.
They created a flood forecasting system that works, it's effective, and it's affordable.
With tech that's already out there,
Right.
readily available. It's amazing.
It is. And it's not like they just threw something basic together. It's actually like a two-part system, really smart.
Okay, so how does it work?
So first you've got the flood prediction system, the FPS, right? And it looks at the rainfall, obviously.
Okay, so it's tracking how much rain is coming down, but, that's only part of it, right?
Exactly. It also factors in, the ground, how it absorbs the water, the infiltration rates.
Ah, so it's creating this picture of the ground, basically,
Yeah.
how saturated it is,
Yeah.
which is, key for floods.
Yes. And then on top of that, there's the flood warning system.
Okay, the FWS, what does that one do?
Okay, this is where it gets even cooler, I think. It uses AI and image recognition.
Whoa, hold on. Are you serious?
Yeah. So the FWS is almost like a high-tech weather watcher, but instead of, a person, it's analyzing clouds.
Clouds.
Yeah.
To predict the rainfall.
Exactly. So you've got the FPS monitoring the ground, the FWS watching the skies.
And they're working together.
Yeah, and that combination, it's what makes Musingati's system so unique, really effective. It's like having this, a tag team, right? One watching the rivers and streams, the other's got an eye on the sky.
And keeping people safe. But what's really cool is they didn't just stop there, right? Musingati brings in AI to make this even better.
Oh, right. The flood warning system, the FWS.
Yeah, that's the one. So imagine the system, it's crunching data, but tons of it. Rainfall, temperature, humidity, wind.
It's like a weather supercomputer almost.
Exactly. But it's not just about the numbers. This is where it gets really wild. Image recognition.
Hold on, what?
Yeah. They're using it to analyze the clouds, the actual formations.
So it's like giving the AI, super-powered weather vision? This is amazing. But did they actually, test this thing out for real?
Oh, yeah, they did. Musingati took it out in the field during the rainy season, when it really matters.
I bet that was, oh man, nerve-wracking. How'd it go?
Better than they probably even hoped. 72% success rate.
Wow, seriously. Predicting actual floods.
Floods from prolonged rainfall, yeah. 72% accurate. It's huge. Especially with, limited resources and all.
Absolutely. But there had to be some bumps along the way, right? Nothing's ever that smooth.
Oh, for sure. One of the big things with the data itself, early on, they were using cloud cover info, but it was based on, what people observed.
Oh, okay. So you've got that human element right there. Could be some inconsistencies.
Exactly. So they switched it up, focused on training the AI with a lot more data, and importantly, data from, right there in Zimbabwe.
Ah, so it's like giving the AI a crash course in local weather, right? Instead of just general weather knowledge.
Think of it this way. Weather in Zimbabwe, it's not the same as, London or Tokyo or whatever.
Makes sense. It needs that local expertise.
Exactly. And this is where Musingati's really thinking ahead, I think. They knew it wasn't enough to just, build a cool system.
Right, because what good is it if people can't actually use it? Right?
Totally. So they're working on this weather app.
Yeah.
Specifically for people in Zimbabwe.
A weather app? That's actually brilliant. Okay, but how would it work though?
So picture this, right? You open the app and boom, real-time flood predictions right there for your area. But it gets better.
Okay, there's more.
They want to include, like, safe route mapping during a flood, so people can avoid dangerous areas.
That's like literally life-saving information right there in your pocket just from looking at the weather.
Exactly. It all comes back to that initial innovation, that flood forecasting system.
It really makes you think, like, what other problems could we be solving if we just, thought outside the box a bit more?
Totally. And this isn't some, like, pie-in-the-sky idea either. Musingati's out there proving it can be done.
Right. They're not just talking about it, they're doing it, which is, I don't know, it's inspiring, right?
It really is. It shows what you can do when you combine, like, technology, obviously, but also that understanding of the problem, the community. It all matters.
Absolutely. And, they weren't content to just stop there either. Musingati had even bigger plans for this whole thing.
Oh, really? What else were they thinking?
So they're pushing the limits, already doing incredible stuff. What else do they want to do?
Well, they were really focused on the AI, making it even more accurate.
Of course, yeah, because the better the predictions, the safer people are.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about using that local data, right? Like
Yeah.
giving the AI a really specific understanding of Zimbabwe's weather.
Yeah, instead of just like general weather patterns from who knows where.
Right. So Musingati took it a step further, started looking into this thing called, like, deep reinforcement learning. It's pretty complex, but basically,
Go getting into the tech.
it's like, imagine teaching the AI to learn from its mistakes, and then constantly get better over time.
Okay, so it's like practicing, right? But instead of an athlete, it's like a weather AI doing drills or something.
Exactly. And it's got Musingati there, kind of like a coach,
Yeah.
feeding it more data, helping it along.
That's so cool. It's really like this perfect blend of like the technology, the AI, but also Musingati's vision.
Totally. It shows that it's not enough to just, like, throw tech at a problem,
Yeah.
right? You need that human element, too.
Absolutely. And it reminds me of what we were saying earlier about Musingati being so in tune with their community. That's got to play a big part too.
Oh, for sure. Because they understood what was needed, not just some, like, fancy system that no one could use.
Right. It had to be practical. It had to actually help people.
Exactly. And that's what makes this story so powerful, I think. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about what you can do with it.
It's like Musingati asked that question, what if? What if we could predict floods better? What if we could get people that information in a way they could use? And then they didn't just ask it, they actually went and figured it out.
And that's inspiring because it shows that we don't have to just accept these big problems. We can actually try to solve them.
Absolutely. And sometimes the solutions, they're not even that complicated. They just take, like, creativity and a bit of, I don't know, guts to actually try something new.
Totally. And I think that's something to keep in mind no matter what we're facing, right? Like whether it's floods or something else entirely.
Yeah, it's about looking at things with fresh eyes, right? Like Musingati did.
Exactly. And who knows what other amazing solutions are out there, just waiting for someone to discover them, right?
Well, that's the beauty of a deep dive like this, right? It's not just about learning about flood forecasting or AI.
It's about, like, sparking those ideas, getting people excited about what's possible.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you learned something new today, but more importantly, hopefully you feel a little more, I don't know, hopeful about the future.
Because even with all the challenges out there, people like Tinevimbo Musingati, they're out there making a real difference. And that's pretty incredible when you think about it.
Absolutely. And if one person can have that kind of impact, imagine what we could all